10 football conspiracies that might be real. Number
Talk
10
to me.
was the 1966 World Cup rigged. Everyone in England probably knows that England hosted and won the 1966 World Cup. But what people don't know is that FIFA were having a huge problem just before this in attracting people to watch the tournament. This is mainly because Brazil were too good. They won the 1958 World Cup and they won the 1962 World Cup, and I'll get back to this photo later. And because Brazil was so much better than everybody else, the conspiracy is FIFA decided Brazil couldn't win again because it was getting boring for people to watch. Brazil liked playing a flamboyant, fun style of play, whereas in England, people would get away with pretty much booting the shit out of their opposition. So FIFA decided with English refs, the way Brazil play, it won't mix. In Brazil's final group game against Portugal, needing a win to go through, Pelé was simply kicked out of the game. And the referee sat there and let it happen, including this foul that happened in the box, not given, got up again and got fouled again in the box, nothing given. As a result, Pelé would have to hobble off the pitch and couldn't play any further.
That's true.
And Portugal would go on to win the game 3-1. Brazil would go out at the group stage, this being the only time that has ever happened before and ever happened since. So you tell me, was the 1966 World Cup rigged against Brazil? Number 9, and I'm putting this in because I told you I'd come back to this picture. And this is in simply because I noticed this when I looked at the picture and I still don't understand what it is. What is this right here at the front where I've just moved myself? Is that a flip phone? The year here is 1962, by the way. I've zoomed in and it simply does actually look like a flip phone. As you see on the camera, it looks like they're taking a picture of the Brazil captain. I had to put it in because I noticed it and it just creeped me out. Number 8, the rigged El Clasico. People don't know, but the biggest win in El Clasico history was Real Madrid 11, Barcelona 1. But was it rigged? Well, you see, Barcelona had won the first leg 3-0 and had celebrated in a very unsportsmanlike manner in front of all the Real Madrid officials. And it was said that General Dictator Franco really did not like these Barcelona celebrations. So much so, he sent his right-hand man, Jose Finat, into the Barcelona dressing room before the game in the second leg. And apparently, this is where the conspiracy comes in, he had 2 revolvers. And just 4 days after beating Real Madrid 3-0, they lost to Real Madrid 11-1.
No,
a record in El Clasico that stands to this day. Number 7, Holland and the 1974 World Cup. This team was unbeatable. The best team at the World Cup by far. They underlined how good they were when they beat reigning champions Brazil 2-0 in the World Cup semi-final. After that game, however, they decided to celebrate. And it said the way they celebrated was a certain type of pool party with German models. German media caught hold of the story and they put it in a news article the day before the final. A final that Holland were playing against West Germany in. See, the problem with this is pretty much all the Dutch players were married. Years later, Dutch midfielder Arie Haan would say that when that newspaper article was released, everything changed. This comes from his mouth. Pretty much all the Dutch players were on the phone to their wives all the way through the night before the final, trying to explain themselves. Including Johan Cruyff, who according to Arie Haan wasn't even at the party. And many people believe this is why Johan Cruyff simply wasn't himself in that final. Because while
I think the 78 though was rigged as well, the Argentina one.
they should have been sleeping, they were all on the phone explaining themselves to their wives. Number 6, did the destruction of this cinema in Tehran prove that Iran purposely didn't qualify for the 2002 World Cup? You see, when the cinema was torn down, this transcript was found in one of the seats. It's a long conversation between an Iranian government minister and an Iranian journalist, which basically said, in a game in the 2002 World Cup qualifiers between Iran and Bahrain, which Iran just needed to win to go through, the Iranian government advised them to throw the game. Iran didn't even muster a shot on target as they lost to Bahrain, who had nothing to play for. But why was this? Well, 4 years earlier, Iran were at the 1998 World Cup and beat USA 2-1. Well, it was said after this game, Iranian fans would go on the streets and celebrate this win by drinking. And the Iranian government didn't like this, so they didn't want to go to another World Cup. Number 5 is Cardiff in the 1927 FA Cup final.
Wait, what? Rip Sir Bobby, what? Chat. Don't joke with that shit. Chat. No, Sir Bobby. No, Sir Bobby. The greatest Manchester United player of all time. May he rest in peace, man. You guys are probably obviously too young to remember him, man. Que jogador. Damn, bro.
In 1927, Cardiff became the first team outside of England to win the FA Cup. They beat Arsenal 1-0, and this is Arsenal's starting lineup that day. As you can see, their goalkeeper, Dan Lewis, was a proud Welshman. And just wait till I show you the only goal of the game. As you can see, the shot comes in, Dan Lewis catches the ball,
We can't
Ball
see,
is stationary at this point. Then turns around and chucks it in his own net. Dan Lewis always
this guy, by the way, is really good though. Where does he find this
Number
stuff?
4, did a distracted Argentinian win Uruguay the first ever World Cup? Argentinian striker Luis Monti had been balling at this World Cup, and even scored in the final to put Argentina 2-1 up just before halftime. However, eyewitnesses state at halftime, Luis Monti was approached by Italian dictator Mussolini. You see, Mussolini had already decided that the 1934 World Cup would be hosted by Italy, and he was on a recruitment mission. You see, Monti's mother was Italian, and it's said that him and his family were threatened unless he switched allegiances to Italy. Coming back out for the second half, Monti was seen in tears. And with their star player completely distracted and even seen crying on the pitch at times, Uruguay went on to win 4-2 and win the first ever World Cup. And one day later, Luis Monti switched allegiances to Italy and won the 1934 World Cup with Italy. Number 3 is Argentina in the 2022 World Cup.
What?
It's no conspiracy that Qatar getting the hosting rights to the World Cup was corrupt. Well, it's largely reported that many countries did come out and say that they were completely against this, although Argentina decided that they were for it. And Qatar seemed to greatly appreciate this, and over the next few years became very close with one another, especially economically. And it seemed Qatar's appreciation for Argentina backing them ran so deep that they were willing to pay off debts that Argentina had. 2 years before the World Cup, Argentina would do the same for Qatar. And just 1 year before the World Cup, as you can see by this news title, Qatar-Argentina relations witnessed great boom. It was even said some Qatari officials would do anything for Argentina. I'm obviously not saying that the World Cup was rigged, but this is where the conspiracy comes from. And with the World Cup being corrupt from the second Qatar hosted it, you cannot rule it out.
Shut up, freak.
And obviously we all know, apart from the round of 16, Argentina were giving a penalty in every single round, and also did get away with some decisions such as
Shut up, freak.
But one thing people don't understand is whether it was rigged or not, it doesn't take away how good of a player Messi is.
Shut up,
But
loser.
because Messi has such a loyal fan base, nobody questions how close these countries
Shut
got
up,
to the
loser.
World Cup. Number 2 is the story of Matthias Sindelar, an Austrian footballer in the 1934 World Cup where Austria nearly went all the way. Austria were tipped to win the 1938 World Cup. In the year 1938, Austria would play a friendly against West Germany with Sindelar scoring in a 2-0 win. And it said Sindelar, a proud Austrian, celebrated in front of the German officials very passionately. A while after this, Matthias Sindelar and his wife were found deceased in their house. The official cause of death was carbon monoxide poisoning, but many people don't believe that. They believe that a certain regime in Germany at the time did this to him and his wife. Number 1 is the unbelievable story of Carlos Kaiser. This footballer from Brazil enjoyed a 20-year footballing career, in which he would earn millions of dollars and a lot of moves. But what if he was never even a footballer? Why do I say that, you ask? Because these are his official stats in his 20-year career.
What?
0 appearances, 0 goals, 0 anything. You see, Kaiser was a friend of famous Brazilian footballer Carlos Alberto. And it's believed from the years of 1971 to 1986, he used fake mobile phones to show the clubs that he was rejecting more lucrative offers. He also didn't play a game in this time, hiding behind various injuries he didn't have. But it's that move in 1986 that blows my mind. You see, he managed to get a move from Brazil to France to Gazalik Ajaccio for quite a lucrative fee because his friend Fabio Barros, and was even unveiled in a stadium full of fans. Believing his cover was about to be blown when they asked him to do a few keepy-uppies, he said booted the balls into the crowd while kissing the badge passionately. He had a friend, Fabio Barros, who also played for Gazalik Ajaccio. He actually played. He took pictures posing in his Gazalik Ajaccio top to get a move to Flamengo. He would then move to Bangu, still hiding behind fake injuries, was finally named on a bench for a professional game. His team were 2-0 down and he was about to be bought on. Running out of ideas, he decided to just fight one of the fans, claiming that they had said something to him, to get sent off. He managed to keep up this ruse till 1992 before hanging up his boots.
What the
clean.
fuck am
Living the
I
life of a pro footballer, despite never having kicked a ball.
Nah.
Conspiracy being, could he even play football, or did he just get really, really hard done by injuries?
Yeah.
You tell me. 10 football conspiracies.
Hey, this guy, funny guy, apart from number 3, man. You disrespected Messi, so you're finished, loser. Interesting. You gotta respect it for sure, man. Yeah, rip Sir Bobby, man. Fuck. You're not